Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the DDT Podcast. It is episode 7. We're returning to the roots. We're having a new guest on this time on the show, and it is an individual who I met fairly recently, but have gotten to speak to quite a few times over the course of the past 2 months. And at least where we met, it was from Starbound Entertainment, a wonderful individual who I think is a solid character and understands how to build a story and to execute it insanely well, and is very dedicated to their craft. I know that the name, as usual, is given away on the screen, but ladies and gentlemen of the Mad Army, I want to introduce to you Harvey Reynolds. Welcome to the DDT Podcast. It's wonderful to have you.
Oh my god, thank you. Honestly, you need to start doing my announcement because I swear to God, that was just impeccable. Chef's kiss, my friend.
Listen, if you gave me like an accolades list, I would have probably read that as well.
Oh, trust me, we're just getting started, baby.
Hey, are we talking about Starbound, or are we talking about just career-wise right now?
Career-wise, ooh, that's a good place to start, actually. Career-wise. Oof. Okay, so, a little bit of backstory. How I started this. Pretty much COVID, right? Stuck for everyone. Everyone was trapped indoors. Everyone was either streaming, being sweaty at Fortnite, and I was literally just doom scrolling on TikTok when I was in college, and I was literally just doom scrolling. Then this wrestling geek came up called FCW. So obviously my ass was just like, do you know what? It's something I haven't done before. Obviously, I'm already a fan of wrestling, so I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot. See where it takes me, you know? And obviously, I think that was the turning point for it. Obviously, a lot of time was flying by. I've been doing this for near enough 3 years now. Jesus, it's a bit concerning now. I feel like I'm a veteran. But yeah, like, pretty much started out in SCW, obviously learning the ropes, how to tell stories, and that's where I met Damian Daniels. And obviously, me and Damo have been friends ever since then. Obviously, we go back and forth, we talk a lot, and it's really where me and him started to learn our craft.
Interesting. And what ultimately led from the two of you meeting each other to eventually being part of Starbound, the company that obviously you and I met in?
So, pretty much, we was in a place. I'm not gonna say the name because it's all just been. But like, we were in the place. Obviously, Damo wasn't happy. One of your guests, Zero, wasn't happy, and obviously he messaged me like, "Yo, I might just start my own place." And I was like, "Okay, well, if you do this, you know, you got my 100% support. Like anything you need or anything I can do, don't be afraid to reach out." Because obviously, thinking about it now, without me meeting Damo, I probably wouldn't even lasted a year in core, let alone 6 months. So like, it was more the fact that he knew that this could be big, you know? Like, he can create a place where people can come, tell stories, entertain, be able to develop their characters a lot, and it's just been a wonderful experience. Every place has its rocky roads, and obviously most recently we've been fixing it. And obviously regular uploads a lot, but like, I'm really happy to say that I was one of the OG members of Starbound Entertainment and forever will be.
And obviously, you think this can snowball into something far greater than what it is right now, the base that you have, the foundation.
Like I said, this is just the beginning. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
See, for the audience, there's always this question that you've got to ask yourself, right? Would you rather sit back and just let it happen, or try and help and do something that could potentially change your whole life forever? That's the question you should be asking yourself, because in my mind, it was one of those things where it's an opportunity, it's a fresh start. I'm doing something with one of my closest friends who I've met through Core, and obviously I could have just said no there and then. But the fact that I said yes, and I've got to a stage where I can confidently say, oh, I've helped build this in some type of way, it makes me feel 100% different.
Well, piggybacking off that, I don't mean to wind too far back, but I know. Obviously, you've already jumped ahead of me, which is fine. I'm totally cool with it in terms of being so willing to express the history that you had on how you got into co-op. But I want to know, kind of what I've always asked everyone else is, what got you into wrestling? What was the moment that you can recall that hooked you into wrestling in general, and then who kind of influenced you as you got older before you even got into co-op?
That is one hell of a question. Uh, I was at my granddad's at the time because I used to play golf when I was younger. I know, weird sport to play when you're younger, but obviously it was something that we bonded over. And he flicked on TV and flicked on to Monday Night Raw. Obviously, I was only like very little at the time, and obviously I just sat there. I'm pretty sure it was a Dolph Ziggler match against Kofi Kingston. Yeah, Kofi Kingston for the Intercontinental title. And ever since that match, I just started to fall in love with wrestling. Like, it was one of those experiences where just the fact that two people can go out there and just put on a show, the emotion, the pain, the adrenaline, and it just wowed my tiny childlike brain. And ever since then, I'm still obsessed. I mean, damn, it's
Well, do you have kind of a wrestler that was stand out to you?
that stands out to me.
Yeah. When before you got into call, and maybe it's changed since you joined call, but was there kind of a wrestler that hooked you in?
It was Dolph Ziggler.
Oh yeah, you did mention that. My fault.
No worries. So like, see, the thing is with Dolph, he gives it as all. Obviously, his now well, his name's changed to Nick Nemeth, but like at the same time, he gave it his all. Like, it didn't matter how big someone was, it didn't matter how tough they was, he gave it his all. And like, the dude could sell. I mean, damn, every time he took a super kick, it looked like he'd been shot. And like, it was one of those things where I was like, do you know what? I see myself a little bit of myself in him. Like, he may not be the strongest, he may not be the toughest, but he will give it all. And that was one of my primary inspirations.
Yeah, Ziggler to me has always been an incredible talent. As you said, he's now known as Nick Nemeth in TNA, but he was an incredible performer, still is to this day. I'm referring to his WWE work. I remember there was rumblings of him getting the world title back. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but that's a cool performer to pick, both in selling and in ring performance, but also on the microphone as well. There's
Very, very underrated on the microphone.
there's a few standout moments in the microphone for me. Probably my favorite was when he put his career on the line against The Miz for the Intercontinental title. I think 2017 No Mercy, if I remember correctly, or
It was 2016, 2017, like when SmackDown Live was first back, and the fact that it was like, and you can give, and you can give, and you can give. That promo really, really got to me to the point where I was a little bit teared up. And like, that promo sort of resonates with Harvey, you know?
Mhm.
It's like, it resembles me. Like, if I'm not giving my all, then I'm giving nothing. And sometimes when you give your all, it doesn't really matter in the end.
That's a
About the
very good
same.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you go.
Well, I was just gonna say that I agree. I mean, both from as a storyteller and from seeing other people in my own series and other companies. Not everyone can be the mountain, and Ziggler's a good reminder of that. Is that you can give everything in the business and still people can overlook you. The right people can still overlook you, and man, you really just choose how your career can go. But I think that's a good character to model after. I think it's a good person to model after. And has you mentioned it, has any of his presentation, has any of his details in character been taken by you as influence and applied to your own character, or have you completely gone down your own path with who you are and how you present yourself on screen?
See, off screen, I'm a completely different guy. Like, literally, like, you can literally just come talk to me, come chill. You know, if you want to play a game or something, like, literally, I'll be down. But the moment when I'm on that screen, that's Harvey Reynolds. That's the guy who doesn't care, who will put up a fight, and he will push you to your limits. Because if he doesn't give 100% into a match, then he's not satisfied. And he's the type of person where, or he's the type of character that feels like he's got a chip on his shoulder, like he's unrecognized. He's one of those people who demands his respect. And in recent weeks, it's really starting to show through because, like, for so long, he's been the guy who's been helping everyone, who's been doing backstage work, who's been putting in 100% after 100% after 100%. Like, when is his moment? You know? Like, no offense to Damo, like, I love him, he's my brother. But how many moments has he had? You know? And the same thing goes with Flynn. Flynn, he's had so many moments almost gifted to him, you know? And it's like, well, hold up. Why is it that this person is getting treated different to me when I'm the one putting in more work? I'm helping the company as a whole. And it's just one of those things where he feels frustrated. But we'll see how that plays out, because that'll be very interesting to see what happens.
Well, I'm interested to see what happens as well. I think you said he was handed opportunities over you. Do you feel that Um, do you feel that he's just been given opportunities, or do you think he's been put in better situations than you, or do you feel that you're being held down in contrast to him by management?
Let me get this 100% clear with you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Prime example of this is Riley Dillon. I don't know, he's only recently been crowned a pure violence champion and whatnot. Yeah, he put on a great match, but just because you had one great match doesn't mean you get to wear the title, you know? Like, that's a title. That is where someone's hard work, dedication, blood, sweat, tears, all their hard work, all the time they put in, all the effort they put in, that's what earns you championships. And the fact that Harvey Reynolds, me, didn't get that shot, it's beyond a joke. And this is becoming an embarrassment because, like, literally, before we recorded this, I had a match against Sean Alexander, right?
Mm-hmm.
On a house show. A house show. They won't put me on WAW. They definitely won't put me on RTG because the last time I was on RTG was when I was facing Flynn North. But you saw in that match how much I pushed that man to the limits. You know?
Absolutely.
And the thing with Starbound management is they don't understand when they've got a workhorse, you know? The guy who's willing to do everything. You see it in multiple places, in multiple different e-feds, different companies, different promotions. You see it all the time. But the difference between me and them is I will speak up. Like, I will tell you that I'm not happy. If you don't do something to fix it, I'll do it myself. Because at the end of the day, Riley Dillon was just gifted an opportunity out of thin air. Like that. You know? Whereas me, I've been putting over younger talent. I've been in working behind the scenes. I've been helping people with their promos. Hell, look at Aiden Blake now. You know what I mean? Prime example, Aiden Blake. But I think it's time for me to show everyone what I can do. But if they're going to keep on denying me this opportunity and denying the statement that I can be a champion, regardless of my height, regardless of the way I talk, it's just a joke, to be honest with you.
Mm. Well, I appreciate you setting the record straight. So, do you feel that? So obviously, this champion is who you're aiming for. This title. You don't have a shot in line with it with the champion, correct?
Not yet.
Do you?
Keyword, yet.
Yes, yet. So on that note, do you have a plan of how you want to execute getting said title shot?
It's simple, really. Every time and every week that goes by where he's just sitting at home, putting his feet up, not getting in the ring, not performing, I'm going to be putting on banger after banger and crushing everybody I face. And with doing that, they will have no other choice but to give me what they want. And if they don't give me what I want, which is Riley Dillon in a death match, because trust me, just speaking to me, I have that in me. I know I have that in me. Difference is, where has he been since he won that title? Nowhere. Has he been booked? No, because they're protecting his title reign. And the saddest thing is, I'm giving him more of an opportunity to show and to prove himself to me, to earn my respect and to earn the respect of the fans. And every time we get closer to facing off, either at a pay-per-view and I don't get it, I might have to go to plan B.
Do I dare ask what plan B would be?
Trust me, it involves a sledgehammer, a car, and Riley being in A&E. That's what I'm going to say.
Sounds like attempted paralysis. But I do like the idea of issuing a challenge, especially on this podcast. I'm humbled that you willing to throw out such a challenge. But as far as a death match, aren't you worried that could cause long-term damage to you as well?
Listen, I'm from Birmingham, England, mate. No one's tougher than the people of Birmingham. We were the lead in Industrial Revolution. We were the city that was in those coal mines, that were in the slate hills, that were in factories creating cars, creating coal, creating slate tiles for people's houses. If my ancestry did that, I'm sure I can survive a death match with Riley Dillon.
That's fair. And when was the last time that Riley Dillon defended his title?
He hasn't.
He hasn't defended it at all? How long has he been champion?
Let's see. Let me just check real quick. Let me just go on Google.
Fair enough.
He won the title last month on the 22nd.
So we've almost gone a full month without a title defense. Is that rare in Starbound Entertainment, or is that a common occurrence?
It's very rare, if I'm being honest. I mean, if you look at the last couple of episodes, like Chun Hon Lee, he recently defended his title in a gauntlet match. He didn't just do it one-on-one, he went through four other people to defend his title. Do you know what that shows me? Commitment. The same thing with Damian Daniels. Like I said, he defended his title against Aiden Blake. And as well as that, Flynn North, every other champion has defended, including Amir. Who hasn't defended his title since he won it? Riley Dillon.
Do you think it's because he's a coward, or do you potentially believe that there could be some sort of lingering injury that is causing said hiatus or said departure from performing in the ring?
Look, I just think he's afraid to see a man who has nothing to lose gain everything. Because I'm going to put it plain and simple. When I do get that match, when I do get him one-on-one, I'm going to make him sweat. I'm going to make him bleed. I'm going to feel his blood on my hands and give him the fight of his life. Whether I win or whether I lose, the fact of the matter is, I will have gone in making a statement, the fact that I am not a man to be messed with, you know?
Right.
But for him,
fully agree.
if he loses, what happens to him? That's what he's afraid of. He's afraid of losing it all.
Well, I guess from a certain perspective, that does make sense. You know, winning a championship does mean higher status, higher position on the cards, more marketing, more exposure in theory, and ultimately more revenue, because the company feels that in some form or fashion, to take said title away from you, there should be a bigger pot. I mean, there's obviously the financial opportunity there for you. I mean, the more victories you rack up and the more attention you bring to this championship and this champion in trying to unseat said current title holder. Do you feel that this is about the money? Do you feel that this is about your own personal accolades? Is your focus more on trying to prove something to yourself, trying to prove something to somebody else, making him pay? Because this sounds, when you talk about a death match, this sounds like a personal vendetta. Is that the case, or is this some other reason that I already listed?
The reason is simple. Like, you're digging too deep. The fact is, I am a guy who came from nothing to being something to being a wrestler. Okay? I represent the people who have worked their asses off, like I have worked my ass off. This is not only for the people, but this is also for me. And this is for all the people back in my home country, you know? They've got a champion they can be proud of. If I win, they will have a champion that they'll be proud of. It's not about status. It's not about fame. It's not about the money. I want to inspire people, not to be like me, but to rise up and fight for what you want. It's as simple as that.
Well, I like the strong message that you're trying to send. But on that note, if you are able to get the match, if you are able to put him down and obviously become the new champion, what would be your primary goal as the champion? What is it that you want to accomplish the most as the title holder?
To put it plain and simple, I want people to step up their game in Starbound as a whole. I don't want to see the company that I work with, where I poured hours upon hours training and working and climbing the ranks just to go to waste. I want people to fight. I want people to challenge. I want people to be either upset or angry where they currently are. I want them to realize that when I am champion and when I beat Riley Dillon, they're going to have to face me and prove to themselves they can beat me. Because believe me, if I win and if I get that match, I'm not going to make it easy for them. But the fact that they've had the balls to step up and say, "Do you know what? I want this guy one-on-one." Any sort of stipulation. It shows you've got guts, it shows you've got talent, and it shows you've got the potential to be a star.
I think those
and trust me, all challenges are welcome.
I mean, that's a good statement to make before even becoming champion or even having a match. I mean this. I assume this goes for even just building up to the match. Come one, come all.
Come one, come all.
I'm
just gonna let them fall.
Ooh. And fall they no doubt will, with that kind of conviction that you possess. But on that, is this the championship that you want the most, or are you eventually going to set your goals for the top prize, the inevitable biggest championship in all of Starbound?
Trust me, we're just getting started. The Reynolds revolution is here, and it's here to stay. There's going to be a lot in the works. There's going to be a lot of people I'm going to piss off. And do you know what I'm going to do to them?
No. What are you going to do to them?
I'm simply going to look them in the eye, hit them with the LTF, pin them for the 1, 2, 3, and smile, holding both my middle fingers up in the air as a last fuck you to anybody who dares to get in my way.
I will definitely keep that in mind. Hopefully I don't piss you off enough to receive that of my own.
Oh, don't worry, you're perfectly fine. You're doing an amazing job.
Oh, thank you. That gives me some reassurance from the chair that I sit upon.
Trust me. Trust me. You're perfectly safe. I mean, like, you've got no influence backstage and backstage politics. Obviously, you're just trying to do a job. When you invited me on to this amazing show, I mean, shit, you've had Austin Zero, one of my idols, one of the guys you look up, but I'm kind of upset with him because he's disappeared. Nobody knows where he is. But the way I see it, he'll be back. He'll be back, and when he is back, let's just say I'll be keeping an eye on him.
So, when he showed up on my podcast, were you pissed off that he did the podcast but won't come back to perform and wrestle in Starbound?
Look, I don't know his condition. I don't know what he's suffering with. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's got to deal with his due diligence, and to that, I respect, whether it be mental, whether it be physical. Because we all face challenges in life. Obviously, we've got to get over them. And the fact that he's had the balls to say, you know what? I need a break. I need to slow down. And I need to work and to overcome what I'm going through says a lot. And to that, I respect. Was I pissed off he showed up on your podcast? A little. You know? But, hey, you gotta make money somehow. Especially in this fucking economy. Jesus.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, so, obviously he and I have some connection to be able to pull that. And also, thank you for the kind words about the podcast. I'm glad that it's a good outlet for everybody, whether it's, the WWE, the indie scene, Starbound, my own universe mode, anybody that can just come in and talk about it. But as far as Zero goes, I know what it's like to kind of be in that situation where you step away from the ring or you step away from something that you love, and you can't really, or you're choosing not to answer questions from people. Obviously, I don't, and I did not pry as to why he stepped away. But I think if he does choose to come back, I would like to see him compete against you, because your conviction, your desire to achieve what others believe is impossible or may doubt is commendable. It's interesting, and it's also fascinating to me, because it feels like, obviously, if Zero returns, there would be that edge, that grit, that fire to prove people wrong, the naysayers wrong, that he can still go, he can still perform, he can still compete at a high level. But to go up against somebody that has a strong conviction to just achieve what he's setting his mind to, I think would be fireworks in the making if the two of you competed against each other.
Well, like I said beforehand, just name a time, name a place, and will there be tea afterwards?
Hey, listen, if I have to be the one to mitigate if this match happens, if he does return, if I have to be the one to sit down and keep the peace between the two of you, I'm all here for it. I do enjoy a good mix up in the ring, or a good clash of egos, whether they're active or not. And as far as your feud is heating up, I think that your performance, your your own ability speaks its merit. And you mentioned how other people are given more opportunities ahead of you. I feel that if you continue to rattle the cage enough, eventually they will see that this guy can get us money, they can get us views, and it can draw eyes. And once you start drawing eyes, trust me when I say this, the push will come. And when it does come, it'll hit all the sweeter for you. Do you agree with that?
I agree with that, but like I said, it's not about money, it's not about fame. It's about proving how any simple person watching or well, not watching, listening to this can do anything they put their mind to. Because like I said, if you would have told me I'd be in the position I was 3 years ago, I would have said, what the fuck are you smoking? You know? Because trust me, this feels like just the beginning. This is the beginning of where a simple man like myself is finally sticking up for what they believe in, but they don't do it in the conviction I do it. And that's the main difference. And plus, like I said, they could have pulled the trigger at any time, you know? But did they? No.
Well, I know you didn't. I know you're saying that they haven't pulled the trigger to push you yet. But shifting gears slightly, you mentioned Damien, how he influenced you. Did he help you with gear design? Did he help you with your look? Did he help you with anything regarding that before you even joined Starbound? Or is that something that you learned on your own or found somebody else to help you with?
You see, this is where Zero and Damien and a lot of other people come in, because, like, there's been multiple people that have helped me throughout the years, especially with gear designs and how I've developed over the years, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I went for just being a 21-year-old kid from Birmingham with an attitude problem into a 24-year-old man who has that conviction, that killer instinct, and obviously with my gears and everything, like, obviously I come up with concepts, and what I do is I let people tweak, you know, see how it works. You know, what if we did this? What if we did that? You know? And like that sense of where it got to the point where I was getting the feeling like I wanted some tattoos, right? And obviously, me, I'm a terrible artist. I can't draw for shit. Like, honest, but through Zero, I met this guy who cooked up some amazing tattoos for me. Hold on. Let me just... Where is he? Where's his number on my phone? Mr. DL. What a man. He hooked me up with all this amazing ink work. Went over it, and same thing with, like, my main gear as well. Like, honestly, Zero was a huge part of that inspiration. Alongside Chewy FX, great graphic designer as well. And obviously, some parts I did myself, obviously enhancing the look. And this is the good side of the core community. Like, people helping one another better themselves, like learning new tricks, how to do things yourself. It's an amazing process, which I really enjoy seeing. And like, without them, I doubt I'd be the person I am today.
Wow. I mean, on that point, what would you say is the best part I think you kind of covered it. What would you say has been the most, the strongest element of the call community? Like when everyone helps you, what has been that strongest component that you feel it has versus anything else?
The strongest component would have to be like that we're actually coming together, like multiple people from multiple different places, coming together to share the love of something they enjoy doing. Like some people day in, day out, some people now and again, which is really amazing. And like just seeing that happen, it really does just fill you with pride and joy to be a part of it, you know? And like one of the main things of that is just like I can pass on to my knowledge to person. Whether they use it or not is a different story, you know? But like I've still felt like I've contributed something to help other people. And the fact that people chip in together, they work together to create amazing designs, amazing stories, amazing rivalries, you know, it's just one of those things where I feel a sense of pride, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm proud to be in here.
I think that's certainly a good element to have, taking pride in what you do, and also the work that you put into it, as well as the people that have helped you along the way. I think all of that is important within the call community. But what has been, out of everybody you've interacted with over the course of the 3 years that you've obviously been in the 3 to 4 years that you've been in the call community, what has been probably the biggest lesson that you've learned from other people that you've interacted with?
Oof. Now that's a good question. Hey, can someone get this man a beer? He deserves it after a question like that. Oof. Best lesson that I learned. Don't be afraid to try something that's different, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you keep on doing the same old thing, same old thing, same old thing, over and over again, expecting different results, it just leads to the point of insanity. Don't be afraid to, like, take a step back, assess what's going on around you, assess what you feel like you want to do, and be able to, like, change yourself to do better. Not, like, whether it be titles or whatnot, but, like, change in a way that you're happy with what you've made and what you've done, and change in the way that you can be so many different things, you just don't know it yet, you know? Because everyone can be anything, okay? You want to be a nurse, you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you can go do those things, right? And if it's not for you, don't be afraid to change up, okay? Because, like, this is for everyone out there. We're all going to go through a point in our lives where we look at ourselves and, like, you know what? I don't really like what I'm doing, you know? And don't be afraid to make the changes you think are necessary.
I think that's a good life lesson.
Not just a life lesson, but like it's an important lesson in general. Don't be afraid to switch it up.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I mean, I've gone through similar situations where you have to figure out, or you almost have to bank on yourself and change something that you've been doing. I mean, I know I always go back to my YouTube channel, but that's because that's primarily what people know me for. You do the same thing and you know that it's not going to last. So kind of what are things that you want to do after it? Well, I wanted to do some filmmaking. I want to dabble in voice acting. I want to host a podcast where I invite people and give back to the core community in the wrestling community.
I mean, look what you've done. Look what you've built, you know? Like, you should be proud of yourself. You've made that change. But, see, what people's most common conception is that you're bound to be one thing, right? Like, that's what amazes me with people in general. Like, you could be literally anything. You could be a professional American football player. I'm not saying soccer because that word sucks. You can be a British football player. You could be a rugby player. Like, you could do anything you put your mind to, but at the same time, you can always learn a new skill. Like, for example, I could come off today and be like, do you know what? I want to start my own podcast, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could walk up today thinking, do you know what? I want to be a movie star or something like that. Like, you don't have to bound yourself to one place. Like, you should feel free to dabble, feel free to explore, you know? Like, that's what we're here to do. We're here to explore. We're here to make things, do amazing things. And if that thing doesn't work out, oh well, try another thing, you know? That's the beauty of being human, you know?
No, I agree. And coupled with that, I know that's kind of the life lesson that you learn, but what would be something, would it be the same message on what you would pass along to other people, or do you feel that you would have a different message to pass along to people that are just getting in a call as well? Would there be a different piece of advice?
My message to people who are just joining call? Stay the fuck out of my way. Nah, I'm kidding. My lesson would be... that's a good one. Alright, get this man 2 beers. I'm starting to like him.
Thank
you. My lesson would be... don't give up straight away. It's hard. It's going to be tedious. But at the same time, the fact that you're doing it, like, being a part of something, it's great. Like, you could have... Here's an example I like to use. You could have thousands upon thousands of followers, right? But, like, are you tired? You know? Like, are you tired of just giving up relentlessly on content ideas, or just nonchalantly be like, oh, fuck it, that's fine. Like, take pride in take pride, you know? Like, if you put in the effort and you put in the time and the commitment, it will pay off. So, like, just don't give up. Like, it's hard at first, but trust me, my Twitter DMs will always be open for anyone. You'll probably be just mostly being shit-talking everyone else, but that part aside, they're usually open for anyone and everyone, except Rolly Didn't, because fuck that guy. And, like, feel free to ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, you know? Like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Because you won't never know until you ask, you know?
Mm-hmm. No, I agree.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of the core community. Like, if you ask, there's bound to be someone that knows, you know?
I agree. It feels like, depending on where you look, there can be always somebody that can answer the question that you may have. It might not be immediate, but somebody you could eventually meet. And I like the fact that there's such a range in experience and skill. I mean, you can meet somebody that's fresh and new, and then 1 minute, and then you could find somebody that's been doing it for 15, 20 years, and they've amassed so much knowledge and experience. And there's so many different stories that connect people, and how you meet, how you grow as a person, how you change. I find that part one of the most fascinating pieces, and part of the reason why I wanted to do this was that element of just the threads that connect the community. And I mean, what Starbound has done, what it's looking to do, I think is super cool. I think it's great. I'm glad that you're part of the roster. I feel like you're a key piece that can help elevate both the product and also the people around you. But with that said, do you want to keep your feet in Starbound exclusively, or are you planning on dabbling in other places to help grow yourself or put yourself in different comfort zones just to see what it's like?
Like I said, I'm mainly active on Twitter. There's a place I joined called IWF. It's a very nice community run by an amazing owner, and like the fact that people are in there and like they've took us a nice welcoming to me, and I'm in a bunch of other places as well, like UCW for example, WXW as well, and obviously Celestial Pro. There's much more to come from me as a person, but like for everyone else, don't limit yourself to one place, okay? Because like, sure you're in your comfort zone, but what happens if you leave the comfort zone? You know, like what happens if you go to this space and try something different? You know, you pick up a new skill, or like you go to another place. And like, okay, it may not work out at first, but that's still the point of trying. Like, if you try all these different things, all these different methods, or like you're not bound to one place, it's a great experience to learn and grow. And obviously, that's how I met. Oh, excuse me, I need a drink. Damn, feeling a bit hoarse. Jesus, we've been yapping on for ages.
Yeah, we're around the 50 minute mark.
Let's speed it up, hey.
I mean,
But yeah, there's gonna be a lot to come from me. I am looking at a place, and I'm thinking about it. You know, giving it a chance.
what are
But
your
you have to wait and see.
yeah, exactly. To your point about change and trying out new things, I was kind of figuring that was going to be your answer, but I thought I'd get it on the record. Starbound's a great place. There's a few other locations that I might not know by name, but I know there's some good places out there, and I feel like there's a lot of there's a high ceiling for you, and we're yet to see it come to fruition. And I feel like getting that title shot can help start that conversation, but it requires a chance. And I'm not trying to, nod, or nudge, wink to the management of Starbound, but I do think that it's important to give opportunities and try something different. And if you're given the ball, let him run with it and see if he drops it or not. But either way, I'm trying to figure out how to segue to the next question. What would you say has been the biggest challenge that you've faced so far in the call community? And looking ahead, what do you think could be a challenge that you may face down the road?
Ooh, man, where did we get this guy from? Jesus, these questions are great. Let's try
Thank you.
to answer these ones. Um, First one, what's been my biggest challenge? My biggest challenge is finding what I want to present, you know? Like what I want to present myself as, you know? And like it is a challenge. You'll struggle to find it at first, but trust the process. I trusted the process, and here I am today. And in the future, Damo, you best be keeping that belt, buddy, because I'm coming for round two.
Wow. Alrighty.
That's gonna be my biggest challenge. Beating Damo. Ooh, tough son of a bitch.
I like the long-term goals. But then kind of because we are getting close to the time, several questions I got left for you. Number 1, do you have a Mount Rushmore of Caw, or if you don't, we can move on. But if you do,
Oh, I do.
who would it be,
Okay.
and why? And why, if you want to provide that.
They're gonna kick my ass once this goes up, but Damo, number 1, because without him, I wouldn't be here today. Huge respect to him. Second, Austin Zero helped me out a bunch, helped me figure out where I'm going, what to do. Obviously, a lot of experience. So, number 2. And number 3 is Nolan Wright. Because honestly, he's been along for the ride. He's been a great guy to hang around with, like behind the scenes, in front of the camera. Amazing. And for the female side as well, I'll give you 3 for the female side. Number 1, Raz. Razzle Bedazzle, the Down Under Thunder, I like to call her. Also known as Raven Sylvester. Great person, love her energy and her commitment. Great person to work with. Number 2, gotta be Monica Monroe. Amazing talent. Like, once again, great knowledge, great person to be around. And number 3, number 3 would have who would it be? It would probably have to be Trinity. Yeah, Trinity. She's just a bubble of joy, always got ideas cooking, a lot. Amazing person to be around, and I'm looking to see what I can work with her with the future is.
I think those are all solid picks. Wow. I'm just lost for words. These are all very good picks. Some of these people I've heard of. Some of them I've gotten to meet. So obviously, Zero being on the show and all. Damo, I've gotten to speak to quite a few times. There's a few other people that I haven't met, but I've heard whispers of. So I think those are all good picks. I think those are all great picks. But with that said, that's on the cost side. Who would you say has been or is your Mount Rushmore in wrestling in general? Who has been those 4 pieces that you believe are the mountain that is wrestling?
Let me put it to you like this. Stone Cold number 1, Dolph 2, CM Punk 3. I'm gonna get a lot of stick for that one online, I'm pretty sure. And number 4, it's gotta be The Rock.
Okay.
The Rock and Stone Cold rivalry will ever be ingrained into my head, and I love it to bits. Like the attitude of Austin, like how to tell a story through Dolph, how to work on the mic, be confident, how to bend things, how to bend words, and The Rock just being that person that can electrify anyone in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
Like those 4 people helped me,
Hey, you're not gonna get any flack from me on the whole Punk. I know you mentioned CM Punk as one of your 4. You're not gonna get any flack from me. I don't have a problem with that choice.
Yeah.
It is at the end of the day, it is your list, and as long as you have a good articulate reason as to why you feel that is, then ultimately it's just hey, all right. People can disagree, but at the end of the day, it's your list.
Exactly, and if you don't like that, fight me.
Alrighty, well with that said, one final question for you. where can everyone find you? Where can they follow you if they want to hear more from you? Where can they go?
They can go to Twitter, that BrummyBoy0. They can obviously find me at Discord, pretty much the same. You can find me on Starbound Entertainment. You can find me in IWF. You can find me in WXW. Like, listen, trust me, you can find me. If you want to talk, let's talk. If you want to fight, let's fight. You want to just come say hi? Come say hi. You know? Like, and also, I just want to say thank you so much for letting me be on here. Like, you've been an amazing host. Like, honestly, I hope that your viewers enjoy this, and honestly, I hope it was a pleasure having on.
I appreciate your kind words. Thank you for being a guest on here. I do appreciate you agreeing. I know you had expressed very early on that you wanted to do this. I'm glad that our schedules finally aligned. Well, more specifically, my schedule finally aligned to get you on, because I know it's been a little hectic.
We all have our scheduling issues, man. Work can be a bitch sometimes. I can tell you that much for a starter.
Oh yeah, literally. But it has been a pleasure. I look forward to the day that I bring you back on, hopefully as a champion, with the 12 pounds of gold around your waist. And with that in mind, I do hope that your plan goes and comes to fruition. I feel that it could be very exciting to see it unfold, and you can see it all unfold on Starbound Entertainment. You can find them on YouTube. You can feel free to subscribe to their channel, leave a like as well, leave a comment. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, I want to again thank Harvey Reynolds for being on the show. You have been fantastic here on this 7th episode. If anybody else is interested in any other content from him or others, I already mentioned the YouTube channel. Feel free to check out his Twitter as well. Or if you're looking to hear from Austin Zero, you can feel free to pull up the playlist of the DDT Podcast and go back to the first episode to hear from him. But with that in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the 7th episode of the DDT Podcast. If you want to be up on this show as well, you can feel free to reach out to me via the comments or another method that you can think of, and we can talk about it. But either way, that'll do it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, of course, if you choose. But most importantly, as always, suit up, Matt Army, and we will see you all next time on the podcast. Bye.